Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. This is your post-game reaction from Wales versus Kazakhstan as Bellamy's young guns do it again. The consistency has been unreal under Craig Bellamy. We've said it before, say it again. He talked the talk and then he walked the walk, and you got to give him credit. You know, some people will say, oh, it's only Kazakhstan, but it could have got ropey there. And, in past years when Wales conceded a dodgy penalty after missing some chances, maybe they start to feel the pressure a little bit, but not under Craig Bellamy and not with this group of players. But I'm delighted, as ever, to be joined by the man himself, Mr. Matthew Angel. How are you, mate?
Good evening, sir. Yes, very well. Very well. Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all.
Yeah, but look, Bellamy's got him playing, mate. Really, really, exciting football, good football. And we look, because it's round pegs in round holes, you look at the bench, and even though we haven't got the Bales and the Neil Taylors and the Aaron Ramseys and the people who we had in that era, it is the most successful era of Welsh football ever. And Coleman and Page to a certain extent. But like with Bellamy, it's not like individuals, but there's round pegs, round holes, and there's exciting, pacey. It's just a joy to watch, mate.
It is, mate. And I've been quite open on podcasts previously that I've never really followed Welsh football as much as I should. Obviously, I go home and away with Cardiff, but I've never really had the bug for international football. But ever since that night we had down at Splott Cons, when Bellamy, was it less than a fortnight after he'd been appointed, you managed to get him down for an evening. And again, I've said numerous times, I think I'd have run through a brick wall for him that night. And he's just made Welsh football exciting again, just for me, in my person. And I sat down and watched the whole game tonight, and some of the football I thought we played, was outstanding. The passing, and again, it was Kazakhstan, but again, you can only play what's in front of you. And, you go back to the players, like you said, off the bench. We haven't got no Bales and things like that. But Jordan James, I thought he came off the bench. I thought he was outstanding. And that's the players, Bellamy's going to bring on now. And perhaps, who's to say they're not going to be the next Bales? Someone's got to fill the boots. So who's to say, there's players there now who are not going to get to the heights that Gareth Bale did.
Well, on that, mate, as well, obviously, Harry Wilson's been the standout attacking player for Wales since he's come in, or since Bellamy's come in. But, you've got Rabbi Matondo come off the bench, look sharp, skillful, having a decent season, and scores a goal. That could be, kickstart him. We got, Daniel James is in the form of his life at Leeds anyway in the Championship, and he took it into the game. And even Josh Sheenan, right? Josh Sheenan, playing for Bolton in League One, don't think he would have been everyone's sort of first name on the team sheet, when everyone was sort of Bellamy come in. And look, when everyone's fit, it's going to be Ampadu and Jordan James. You'd think will be the two in the midfield because they're levels above. But for me, Josh Sheenan does such a good job. He doesn't try and do what he's not capable of, if that makes sense. He just pops it about, does the simple stuff, breaks up play. And I really like him. I think, I was saying to Harry the other day, because Josh Sheenan's a bit older than some of the other lads where they've, a lot of them broke in at 18, 19, 20. He's come in mid-20s, late 20s, and he just does the simple stuff. And he's been a massive asset for Craig Bellamy in his first few games. But ultimately, mate, it'll come down to, the big games in this group. I think North Macedonia could be a real tricky one but you look at it and you just can't imagine Craig Bellamy letting him off. You can't let him drop. You just can't see him dropping the levels, can you? They look so adept at just doing the basics.
That was something he talked a lot about on the night we met him just after he'd been appointed, was how he expects and how he drives standards across the board. And I think you can see that in the way that we approach games now and the way we try to play the game. And yeah, I don't think they'll go to North Macedonia on is a Tuesday night, I think.
Yeah.
With any, thinking nothing less than coming away from there with 3 points, and it's a good position to be in, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like you said, going back, 18 months ago, potentially that could have been a big banana skin at home for us tonight. After, we went 1-0 up, dodgy penalty, 1-1, 2-1. Just crying out for the third goal, and I'm so glad we got it because, when there's only one goal in it, anything
it only
can
takes
happen.
a dodgy penalty, mate, doesn't it?
It is, and I thought that was a shocking decision. I can see why he give it, but I just thought not even to go. I think VAR checked it, but I would have asked the referee to go and look. He was literally, 3 yards away from the person who kicked it. I just didn't have any chance to blink and move.
I just don't know what they expect teams and players. Like, what can he do? He's not looking. He's turned his back. His hands. He's trying to pull his hand behind his back. And then what's more frustrating is, all right, they've given that. It is what it is. But just before that, Daniel James beats a couple of men. He's going at a high pace. He's taken out. Whether it was in the box or not is probably a debate. But, there was a foul. And probably if it's a free kick, it's a foul and a yellow card. And if it's not a free kick, it's a penalty. And it was very strange. They didn't even go to VAR. I got real issues with VAR anyway, mate, as you know. But like VAR at international level is a whole different level of frustration. Like,
I'm just like I said, international level. I don't watch it that much, and I'm just so glad we haven't got it at our level in the championship because
I think it's coming, mate.
There was. You see, it just takes the excitement away from it, and when you're sitting around waiting for 2 or 3 minutes for a decision to be made, and
like the Daniel James one, like he's going at so much pace. The guy's just slid in and taken him out. Like I can't fathom why that's not even a free kick. Like it was such a weird one. Even if he doesn't end up making a lot of contact, it's still a foul because he's just wiped him out. Like. And then the one with the red card, like I didn't think it was a red card because I thought it was just a clumsy challenge. But like by the letter of the law and the way they do it these days, it's like just under his knee. It's 5 seconds late. The ball's like 2 yards away by the time he gets him. And then he goes and looks at it and then brings back and gives him a yellow card. It was very odd, like the VAR side of it. But I mean, I think it's a testament, mate, to what Bellamy's done in such a short space of time that you're like, you're an example. And I'm sure there's other people out there who, the excitement and the way that they play and the way that they go about it is just, it means it's bringing people back. Like,
agreed. But agreed is, like I said, I thought they played some really nice football, really nice football. But like we said, you can only play what's in front of you. Obviously, there'll be tougher challenges coming. But it's just, laying the foundations, keep on building game by game. I don't think, we got to take it game by game, especially, it's a long format and it's a weird one because obviously there's only a couple of games. Then you have a break then for a couple of months or whatever it is. And, let's one game at a time and keep building, mate.
And the interesting thing as well, mate, is you were saying to me in over text like that, Jordan James come on and his passing was just sublime. Like it just the little interchanges, playing triangles with Mark Harris and the central midfielders, and then that switch ball for out to Sorba Thomas for the third goal was was just superb. Like Jordan James is someone who I said in the summer that Cardiff should break the bank to get him from Birmingham, even if it meant they signed no one else, that they should sign him because I felt he was that important because he's so young. And I think I kind of stand by it. I get that like it was a little bit tongue in cheek in terms of you can't just sign one player, but he is so good that I think he's going to go strength to strength. And when you think about the potential of this Welsh side, how they're playing, Kiefer Moore doesn't get on tonight, and he'll play on Tuesday away from home up front and do a job. Mark Harris comes off the bench. Rabbi Matondo comes off the bench. Jordan James came off the bench. Like, this is really strong. And you've got like Harry Wilson not in the squad, Ruben Colwell not in the squad. Interestingly, I had a message from someone within the first team at Cardiff during the game, and they basically said, like, if Ruben was playing where Cullen plays, he would be in his absolute element with all that pace and the runners around him. And my reply was, he would, but he's got to go and make himself undeniable at club level. If you're just kind of one good game, one bad game, or one good game, one, all right game, you've got to make it. So Craig Bellamy, when he picks his squad, all the coaches and the people who are involved in that selection process, and not just Ruben, it's the same for anyone who's not in the squad, you just got to make yourself undeniable. You cannot, they can't leave you out. And that's what he's got to do now. He's got to go get his head down and do that.
100%.
As positive,
100%.
as positive it is. Go on. Sorry, mate, go on.
I was just going to say, we all know the talent he's got, RC, but he's been able to do it on a consistent level. And, international football, there's no hiding space. There's none in championship football. It gets picked up, but you can't afford not to be on your A game playing international football, and perhaps that's but obviously Bellamy's been there.
It's funny because I think on the ball he is definitely he's way better than Cullen, like as a on the ball number 10, creating chances, stuff like that. But on the other side of it, what Cullen does offer is he does not stop running. Like, I do think he's a bit of a weak spot for Wales on the ball, but off the ball, not many players in that squad and out of the squad offer the same energy that he gives. It's just a bit of a shame that he hasn't quite got the quality on the ball when it does come to him. Connor Roberts, like, I thought Nico Williams again was just sensational. You could see why he's going to get Player of the Year at Forest. You could see Nico is just so good. I think he's going to be our Gareth Bale, to be honest, over these next few years. He's like 23, mate, and he's played, 50 plus caps. He's third in the Premier League with Forest, and he's one of their better players. He was everywhere and first to everything. And even when he did hold it, because he didn't want to lose the ball, he still kind of recovered and kept a sensational player.
Yeah, I think he's got, like you said, for a young man, he's got city caps as well, hasn't he? I think he's right up there caps wise. Again,
already, he's only 23.
And that's bonkers, really. The experience he's got, as a young 23-year-old is, incredible. Would you like to see him here's a question for you. Would you like to see him maybe play on the right-hand side, like someone just mentioned there about Connor Roberts? Yeah,
so I would, mate. I think like he's one of them where he can play left, and he's very good on the left as well. But I actually think if you have him on the right, I would like to see Owen Beck started to be blooded in now once he's fit. He's only 18, whatever, but he's playing first team football. Get him in there because he's one for the future. And if you've got that pace on both sides at fullback area, it allows you to keep playing that open, expansive football because they've got good recovery speed. Connor Roberts, I thought he was all right going forward. Defensively, he gives me anxiety all the time. It wasn't his fault for a penalty. It was never a penalty. He, like I said, he was all right on the ball, but I do think, when everyone's fit, and you put Ampadu in the midfield, and I like Cabango. I know some people disagree, but I really like him, and I'd like to see. I think in the away games, for instance, I think we might go with a 3 at the back, where it's like Cabango, Roden, and Ben Davis as the 3, and then I think you can put Nico on the right, maybe Sorba Thomas on the left. And you can be quite defensively structured and solid, but open as well.
I was quite impressed with that Sorba Thomas as well, mate. I haven't seen much of him previously, but he was he's a threat. A lot of pace. Wouldn't mind seeing him in a blue shirt either, if I'm honest.
No. It's Yeah, we've got a lot of injuries as well. So to put in a performance like that and still look at the bench and think, oh, we got a couple of options. Tom Lawrence as well didn't get on. And I think, something me and Harry talked about yesterday was Bellamy's very different home and away. So, away he plays he plays single pivot with Josh Sheenan, and then he'll be quite attacking, David Brooks and Cullen either side of him, really aggressive. But away from home, he will set up different. He might go 3 at the back, he might go 4, but it'll be a much more defensively solid team Tuesday in terms of the structure. I think, we'll see. I think Kiefer Moore will probably start. I thought Brennan was a bit unlucky to be taken off. Whether that's because he's going to play on Tuesday and he wanted to just rest him. I thought Brennan Johnson done all right. Wales were very, very good.
Yeah, and I think it was a massive statement, first game of the new qualifiers, and I think it was a big statement to make with the first performance. Like you said, it could have gone potential banana skin after that dodgy penalty, but to come out and score a goal within the first couple of minutes of the second half. Ben Davies, what a player he's been, and again, I'm not sure how old Ben Davies is, but again, he's going to be one outstanding, I thought. And yeah, glad to see him get the ball in the back of the net. And I'm just so glad that they come out early second half, scored that quick goal. I think we kind of held off a little bit for large parts of that second half. I don't know how you felt about that.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because they just sat in and they didn't make any effort to press. And I think it's quite clever what Wales do is they'll slow it right. If the opposition didn't press, which they did, and they just sat in and they made no sort of real effort to go and get a ball. So what Wales did it was really clever. They just slowed it right down, go side to side, and then all of a sudden it'll be like a switch ball or a line breaking ball. Like say a Jordan James will drop into the back three, pick up a ball, switch it, or play like a ball through the lines, and suddenly you're running at them at pace and they can't cope with it. And I thought ultimately, like you just said a minute ago, you can only beat what's in front of you. And Kazakhstan in the second half made no effort to press. So it does slow it right down. But I didn't have too much of an issue with it because I think, if Kazakhstan had pressed, Wales would have just moved it quicker. But they didn't need to, so they had to be patient and a bit clever with it. They want to play for Bellamy ultimately, and he's got him. You can see that the passion for playing for Wales, obviously, but the passion that the loyalty they've already got to him is quite incredible to witness. And I'm not surprised by it because, as you very rightly said at the start, when we spent the evening with him, you came away and you were like, "Wow, I want to run through a brick wall for him." So imagine what the players will be like who have got that sort of different mentality and are going to do it. So yeah, I'm excited, mate. North Macedonia will be really difficult. You go back over the years, and I'll have a look now. But if you go back in recent times, they've caused a couple of upsets in the last few years with the football. Obviously the most notable one being England in the was it the Euros or the World Cup? So Wales have to be on it. It will be a difficult game, mate. But if we can take 6 points from these two, what a statement that is, because we already know Belgium don't like playing us.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. But it's, like I said, I think, we've set the stall out now with a big win at home, 3-1. It'll be a different game, like you said now. Where's Macedonia 2? My geography's shocking.
Yeah,
any idea where that is?
It's Southeast
Somebody will tell
Europe.
us in the chat.
Just next to Greece, mate, it is.
All right, okay. So, yeah, it'll be
I say that only because
it's
only because I had just Googled the result where the recent results, and it was at the top, said where they were, because I wouldn't have a clue, mate. My geography's awful, to say the least. But it is exciting, though, mate.
When you was looking at that, just a quick question for you. Like I said, I don't get to talk to you much, especially about international football. But just to see David Brooks, I know obviously he's been back from his illness and that for a long while now. But again, for what he's been through, it's just brilliant to see him out there with a Welsh shirt on. And he's had his big health scares and things, but how strong must he be mentally to be able to go through what he's been through but still deliver at the highest level is testament to him, to the people around him who supported him. It's incredible, and it's what a story that is.
It's like what you just said, though, mate. Right? Is the mental strength to deal with that illness. And look, don't get me wrong. People all over the world outside of sport are dealing with cancer and stuff like that. But to be able to get back and kind of stay at a level through his illness where he was able to then get back, once he got the sort of all clear and that, it's astounding, mate. Because I sometimes think as fans, we forget, like, elite level sport, top level sport, the difference between that and just grassroots, say, or Sunday League is so vastly different in terms of how your body is and the work you've got to put in to be at that level. So for him to do that and get back to the levels he's at, and there was a lot of pressure. I think there was a bit of pressure on David Brooks today because without Harry Wilson, it was his responsibility to link it all up and his responsibility to be that number 10 who's just, bringing everyone into play. So, and he did it really well, really well. He deserved the goal, actually, I thought. And if he was a little bit more selfish, he would have got that goal because he was through, wasn't he? And he went for the pass. I don't blame him, but it was one of them. But it's tremendous seeing him, mate. He's on my list, actually, of players that I want to interview one day. There's only a few on there because footballers don't generally, a bit of a weird thing, like footballers as an interview subject, they don't generally interest me that much. Like I like talking to them about football and stuff, but like to have a deep dive into people's lives and careers and stuff, I'd rather talk to generally like 10 million other people got interesting stories. Like, but no, that's no disrespect to footballers, by the way, just because I want lots of footballers coming on. Got a real good one. Got a new guest on Wednesday, mate, on the Cardiff City Hour of the Welsh and the Welsh Football Hour. Never been on the channel before.
Is that a surprise, or are you announcing that tonight? Or
I don't know, mate. He's a Scots. If he was Welsh, I'd announce it, but he's a Scotsman, and he's never been on the channel before. I've never interviewed him before either. He's also a current manager as well, which is interesting. But we'll have to leave that till Wednesday. I am also working on a bona fide Welsh legend as well for Wednesday, but I'm not. I don't think that's going to work out from a timing point of view. But North Macedonia. We were.
I said I'm available Wednesday.
Yeah, I bet. No, just looking at the results, North Macedonia beat Liechtenstein 3-0 today. So it does look like Liechtenstein are going to be, for lack of a better term, the whipping boys for the league, for the group. But honestly, mate, if we can take 6 from today, from these first 2, I think it really opens the group up, because I don't believe Belgium just don't seem to be able to get it together, like in a way, like a consistent way. So, they might be good, but they might not be. It's one of them, Obviously, Belgium play Ukraine in the playoff, don't they, for the Nations League playoff this weekend. So that'll be an interesting one, because Ukraine are winning that 3-1 from the first leg. So that's what I mean. Like, Belgium are not at it, if that's I think that's a fair sort of thing. But, it'll be a different qualifying campaign, different everything in it. So they're going to have good players. So Wales will have to be at it. I honestly, though, mate, under Craig Bellamy, he gives you so much confidence as a fan. I think we're going to win the group. And I know that's the worst thing you could say after the first game, because we'll go and lose on Tuesday. But I felt tonight was the banana skin, because I feel the players will be up for Tuesday against North Macedonia, because they know it's tricky. Kazakhstan, unknown quantity. We've never played them in men's football. And I was just like, I just hope we don't pay for the missed chances. Dodgy penalty, and you're thinking, oh, I've seen this before over the years for with Wales. But yeah, the attitude, the quality, everything about it.
And like I said, with Bellamy now, I think as a fan, looking from the outside in, then you look at the way he's approached the games and the way he talks to the press and things afterwards, and obviously because we've experienced him talking to us as well, there's no way he's going to let that attitude slip. That's my opinion. People might think otherwise, but I'm confident that they'll go to North Macedonia on Tuesday and get 3 points.
Yeah. Matt, do me a favor. Can you just talk 2 seconds?
I can talk. I can try and talk.
Do some promoting.
There's a great comment in the chat here from Graham. He says, I used to think if only we could qualify once. Now I expect it, which is a very, great comment, really, because, like I said, we hadn't qualified for a major tournament for so many years. But, now we're lucky we've got that strength and depth. We haven't got the strength and depth as, some of the bigger nations. But, yeah, I was just saying, about the comment Graham have put in the chat. I used to think if only we could qualify once, but now we kind of expect, which is testament to what's gone on over the last few years within the setup.
Absolutely, mate. I've forgotten his name now. There's a guy who was there before, Noel Mooney. I can't remember his name, but he did such a good job of completely revamping the Welsh FA from top to bottom, and then Noel Mooney has come on and taken that foundation. It's Jonathan something, I think. I can't remember his name. It's going to bug me, but basically he put the foundations in place, completely professionalized everything the Welsh FA did from the chief executives right down to the grassroots and everything. Completely changed, revamped Welsh football. And then Noel Mooney, people might some people don't like him, some people like him. You cannot deny that they've between them all, they've come in and they've just completely revitalized Welsh football from 2014. I know Gary Speed gets rightly the credit for starting that revolution on the pitch, but it was started off the pitch a little bit by those people. But also, John Toshak, mate, was the one who started, he was the very slight beginning of it, but playing kids. And these, under Gary Speed and Chris Coleman, particularly Chris Coleman then taking that on under the terrible circumstances that he did, but blood in the likes of Nico Williams when we did at 17, 18. We're playing the benefits for that. And I hope they do it again now with Lewis Kumas and Jordan James, all these young guys coming through, Owen Beck and, all the guys, the 21s and the 18s, and so strong. I hope we blood those players now. Jonathan Ford, that was it. I hope that we blood all these young players now as we're developing and as we're playing well, because then in 5 years, they're going to have 30 to 50 caps at 23. And then you've got the same thing that you've got. Nico Williams is a senior player in the Wales squad, age 23. That's a good thing, because you can build. Obviously, one of the biggest issues we've got is Ampadu's knee injury. It's such a shame because he came back from it and was on fire for Leeds, and then he got, he's had a similar injury. I'm hoping that he can rediscover where he was, because he's a special player. Jordan James is a special player, both in their early 20s. Nico Williams, special, early 20s. Harry Wilson, not,
like I said, nearly on 50
mid-20s.
caps already, Nico Williams, which is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure Harry Wilson's on, something similar, because he came in. He's the youngest ever player to play for Wales. Harry Wilson is. He's got, I think, 50 plus. So it's you've got all these players. Harry Wilson is 28. Do you know what I mean? And he's got 60 Wales caps. So all these players under 30 or under, say, 28 are flying. So it's very difficult or it's very positive to then think of what we're building for the future because we've got all these exciting players coming through. If you could interview one Welsh footballer from past or present, who would it be, mate?
Oh, past or present? Ian Rush. I've lost you again.
Oh, sorry, mate. It was mine. I had to mute him. And I had to mute both my sons just come home. I had to let them in. Typical. Yeah, sorry. Who did you say?
Ian Rush.
Ian Rush. Well, that's an interesting name that should come up. Well, yeah, I'd like to speak. Ian Rush would be good. Mark Hughes would be good as well.
Yes.
Neville Southall, another good one. I think.
I tell you what, another one which could open an old can of worms would be Vinnie Jones. Obviously, I know he didn't play a great deal, but
it'd be amazing.
What a story! What a life he's lived.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Like he was like a footballer for Wimbledon back in the day, and then now he's like a full-blown Hollywood superstar. Like he's not even like a UK actor who does a bit of acting. He is like a full-blown Hollywood star. Like, you know, it's weird, isn't it, how things turn out.
Yeah.
But
one question I did want to ask you, mate. I know
you want to ask me how good was my son's goal today? Well, let me tell you.
40 two things out. I wanted to say. You mentioned it earlier about blood in youngsters and that. Obviously, Kazakhstan brought on a 16-year-old, which is, you know, you've got a boy who plays at that age grade. It's bonkers to think that, you know.
It's crazy, mate. Absolutely crazy. Because,
you
know, you always look at your kids, I think, younger than like people on the TV or other kids. Like, but like, you know, and my boy's, you know, he's good at football. Like he's, you know, he's had a few clubs sniffing around him, but whether he goes on and gets any sort of career out of it, I don't know. It's difficult because of his age now. But so my boy dropped out of the academy system through COVID, like when COVID came on, and they started back up, and him and his older brother didn't want to because of my health. And it's such a shame, like with hindsight, because, you know, really, they probably could have done something, but it was their choice. Like I wasn't going to force him. And he's just kind of been trying to get the opportunity to get back in, which maybe he'll get. But yeah, it's good, mate. I like seeing those stories. But then, like I've said a load, like, progress isn't linear for players, like for individuals. You know, some are ready, 17, 18, like Wayne Rooney was, Harry Wilson was, and some they don't develop till they're late 20s. It's one of them, like, you know. So you've got to be able to, as fans, temper your expectations, because, you know, there's a couple of boys in the Cardiff ranks who people are screaming out for. And even in, you know, Welsh, I'm guilty of it. I said the other week that we should cap Biancheri, who's, you know, he's only playing in United under-18s at the moment. But I said we should cap him because Italy want him. And we got to, I know it seems like stupid and maybe it's not the right thing to do morally, you know, because he's a young kid, like, but got to play the game. Everyone else is doing it. If you cap them, they play for you. And in fairness, in Biancheri's case, I'm relatively sure he's got a Welsh tattoo and like he's pretty counts himself as Welsh, like, or Welsh Italian. But, you know, it'd be very difficult, I'd imagine, to turn down Italy.
On the flip side of that, then, the other question I wanted to ask you was the goalkeeper situation. Obviously, Carl Darlow, I thought he steady tonight, nearly saved the penalty, didn't he? But obviously, he's 34 years of age, not playing regular at Leeds, I don't think. We got Danny Ward then on the bench today, 31, I think, again, not playing. Could that be a concern now going through the group? Do you think, what's your opinion? Do you think we should have a goalkeeper who's playing week in, week out? Is it a major concern for you, or do you think you can probably get away with it being in that position?
I think football's changed over the years where it's not as vital for them to be playing, but, you know, really you want your keeper, whether it's Darlow or Ward, to be playing week in, week out. They're not. They both have been really good for Wales, in fairness. So I think you can kind of like go, in the now, it's okay. But long term, you'd like to see a Welsh goalkeeper, playing week in, week out. Now, I know there's a couple of Cardiff. There's a one boy, I think, at Swansea, who are regarded very, very highly. But goalkeepers, I think, is really difficult to get an opportunity at first team level, unless injuries and everything kind of just sort of created, like, just sort of where you're the only keeper left and you end up playing for your club. It is very, very hard to, what's the word? Like, to get that opportunity. There's obviously you got Ben Turner at Cardiff, not Ben Turner, Matt Turner at Cardiff, who's been on the bench all season, hasn't had a sniff. But there's also a lad who plays for the under-18s, Luke Armstrong, who's super highly rated. Like, he's a wicked keeper, really good distribution. He's big and strong, only 18. But again, you need him to be playing for, like, they're not going to get an opportunity at international level in the first team unless we get a lot of injuries. But equally, in this day and age, keepers play till they're like 40, don't they? Like, ultimately. So I think it is a worry, mate, in terms of like what it is. But it's not a worry, I would say. I'd say it's like a light concern. But I don't think it's a worry, if that makes sense.
Put your card, I know he's obviously talking about Welsh football, but if you put your Cardiff City cap on now then, right, would you be happy? Obviously, I think everybody like to strengthen the goalkeeper situation. Would Darlow or Danny Ward come in as a number one for you at this stage of their career, or do you think we need someone a little bit younger?
I think they're both better than what we got. I know people disagree with me on Danny Ward. I think just going on his Welsh performances, I haven't seen much of him at Leicester, so he could have been awful. But for Wales, I think he's been very, very good, and he's never really let us down. I actually think Darlow's a slightly better with his feet. I would actually be happy with either. And then if you had one of those two to fight it out with Alnwick, I think that's probably a better two than the two we got at the moment, if that makes sense. But I'm of the opinion at Cardiff as well, mate. I want to see a young keeper in there, whether that's someone we bring in or someone who breaks through. I'd like to see like a early 20s keeper come in who we can have for 10 years, really.
Happy days, buddy. Happy days.
And just CJ just asked a question in the chat about a Wales under-21 keeper. There's a few of them in there. You got like Watts and just looking who played the other day. Evan Watts, you got is one of them. And I think the other one's called Ronnie Hollings, something or other. But so like the there's one of them called Benjamin. He used to be at Cardiff. Off the top of my head, I might be wrong about that. Evan Watts is the Swansea keeper who I was referring to earlier. I couldn't remember. Lewis Benjamin is at Wolves now. He used to be at Cardiff. And then they've got Finn Stevens as well. Is someone who's been at. He's at a German club. I forget who. The Wales 21s, mate, and the 18s is the depth of quality is quite frightening for such a small nation. And then you see the way the first team is playing with regards to it's not for me today. It was much more about Finn Stevens, the right back. Sorry, I got that wrong. He's playing at St. Pauli and doing very well. So yeah, my point with it is today for me, of course, the 3 points was vital. Just get a result. But I was really intrigued by the performance rather than the result because I felt we'd win. But I was intrigued whether this would be a bit of a banana skin. And what impressed me is how we worked those triangles. And we just moved the ball really quickly. And the movement off the ball is the key to it. The width, you keep high width. You isolate Daniel James and Sorba Thomas against the fullbacks. And that then creates the space for your Cullens and your David Brooks to drift into, and it just caused Kazakhstan all sorts of problems. Now, yes, North Macedonia will be more difficult, but I'm, fairly confident that we'll go and do a job. I'm doing a show with Harry on Monday where we'll try and guess Bellamy's team, but it's almost impossible to guess his teams because he plays two different systems away, at home and away, and he's always got someone out of left field. So, like, he really, really likes Mark Harris. So I had said to Harry yesterday, I definitely think he plays Harris, and he plays Brennan Johnson. So it's and I said the same about Sorba Thomas. He was like, I think he definitely plays because he really likes him. And Harry was like, well, he's only played like one game since the last international break. And I said, if he's fit, I think he plays because he likes him. And I think once you've got the trust of the manager, especially at international level, because they don't have, daily training sessions. Once you have that trust of the manager, you have to do something drastic to lose it, don't you?
Mm. Yes.
God, that 40 minutes has flown, mate.
It has.
40 minutes has flown.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Indeed, mate. So, as always, 7 days a week, Cardiff content. In the international break, we switch it up a little bit. We have a bit more. We have some Wales content. We have the Wales podcast with myself and Harry. We'll have the match reaction on Tuesday as well. But we try and mix it in with some Cardiff City content because, not everyone likes the international break and it is a Cardiff channel. But so we mix it up. So tomorrow is the breakdown where we're going to have a look at Cardiff City and where we are and the rest of the season. And then Monday night will be the Cymru and Beirdd podcast with me and Harry. Tuesday will be the match reaction to the Wales game. And then the end of the week, from Wednesday onwards, you'll have the Flower Hour. We'll have some more content. I got a video coming out on Joe Bagan. Got a video coming out on Yusuf Salic. And I'm also made the decision today by putting out a 4-part series on how to revolutionize Cardiff City as a football club from top to bottom. We're going to talk about the finances. We're going to talk about the impact of relegation. We're going to talk about the staff off the field. We're going to talk about the players, how to completely revolutionize the football club and get it to where it should be. And we'll kind of break it into 4 parts where we'll probably do part one will be finances, part 2 squads or whatever, whichever way. I'm quite written it.
I was going to say you might have to do that in more than 4 parts.
Yeah, no, it's going to be four probably 4 half-hour videos, mate, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm enjoying making those kind of like more analytical series and pre-recording them and giving them a bit of an edit. So brings a nice mix. There's a few real interesting clips coming out this week from some older shows which people won't have seen as well. So keep an eye out for that. And obviously
just
we'll have some...
shout out to the show I'm doing with Darren Thomas from Signposted Cymru on Wednesday as well. Doing that on the Ace Podcast Nation channel. Darren's an ex-soldier who struggled with his mental health. And he started up a charity then for individuals who were struggling with their mental health to have immediate intervention. So I'll be digging into Darren's history and having a chat with him on Wednesday night regarding mental health and some of the support that he's able to offer. So looking forward to that one. That should be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be good, that is, mate. And I appreciate you doing it as well. And please do, everyone who's listening, watching, all the rest of it, check that out. On Ace Podcast Nation Wednesday, Matt will be sitting down for a chat with them. Signpost Cymru creator, Darren Thomas. And that'll be real good. And that'll be kickstarting kind of Ace Podcast Nation as a channel has been on a bit of a break, just where we've been focused on Cardiff City World more than anything. But we got some really exciting stuff coming on there. Matt's doing that on Wednesday. We've got a podcast with Leroy Brito coming out, comedian, which is so good. We've also got a series coming out on lead singers, rock and roll stars. So there's all like a wide variety of stuff on there. So any support is welcome. If you like music, there's that series is coming. There's a bit of sport on there. Obviously, we have Rhodri gigs on football every week, talking sort of more Premier League stuff. We also have got a mental health podcast coming at some point as well. And there's a good mix of podcasts and then like video content as well. So like the Rock and Roll Stars series, which is called Rebel Voices, is more of like a traditional YouTube series, like videos, sort of 15-minute long deep dives. Gonna be cool. So some of the people that just on that is like Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, the Gallagher brothers, Ian Brown, Jim Morrison off the Doors, Freddie Mercury, proper when rock stars were rock stars, as they say. But we got you covered, whether you want Cardiff City and Wales content, whether you want content on a range of other subjects. We appreciate the support. Please, obviously, the mental health series is something which is really important to myself, really important to Matt, something that we care about deeply. And especially with regards to men's mental health, is something that we've both been affected by ourselves, but also people we know, who haven't made it through. So it's something that we will always try and support and spread the word. So if you can donate to Signpost Cymru, then please do. But, subscribe and give them support to the show on Wednesday. Get involved as well. I think, are you doing that live, mate, or are you recording it?
Yeah, doing that live on Wednesday evening. There'll be a Just Giving link banner I'll create to grow across the bottom. I don't think Darren knows it potentially might be live, but I'm throwing him in the deep end, so chuck him outside his comfort zone. But no, he's a top bloke, Darren, and hopefully he'll be able to share some of the stories and some of the things that he's done to help and support not just himself, but lots and lots of people within our community. Is the work they do is first class, and rather than having to wait 6 months on an NHS waiting list to go and see somebody if you're struggling, Darren and his team is immediate intervention. They'll see you as soon as they can. So any money's raised all goes towards the counsellors and getting those in place for the support for the people who need it, because we all struggle and we all cope in different ways and things, but obviously some people struggle a little bit more and need that help and support. And I think we just wanted to do that show on Wednesday to highlight that there are people out there who can help you. So don't be afraid to open up and go and seek help, because there are some great people out there who will do all they can to help and support you. So looking forward to that on Wednesday, buddy.
100%, mate. And thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in. I've just made the decision, actually, that the breakdown tomorrow night is going to be on the Wales game. I'm going to give it a deep dive into some analysis and rewatch it and stuff, because I think Wales's performance was so good that actually I'd like to take a real good look at it properly and do a breakdown episode on that. So I might be like half and half Wales, half Cardiff. It might be just a full episode on the Wales game. But just made that executive decision in the last 10 seconds. Just appreciate you all tuning in for this late night one. I'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I would have thought, it might be 9 o'clock, but it'll probably be 8, I think. And if not, just give everything a share, retweet, all that good stuff. Make sure you're subscribed. And also, if you want to become a member, please do. Memberships are what keeps the channels going, allows us to do 7 days a week content. Without the memberships, we wouldn't be able to do that. So you can hit join on the YouTube channel, join the Bob Bank or the Family Enclosure, or you can become a Patreon at patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Without the memberships, the Cardiff City World is not 7 days a week. I can tell you that much. But in the meantime, we will see you tomorrow.